Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United transfer news daily, where we talk about all the latest Manchester United transfer news and give it that real fan opinion. And we're going to start off with the centre-back situation. Obviously Issa Diop is apparently a £60 million is what West Ham want for him, target for Manchester United. But as many people know, Manchester United in the media seems to be that Harry Maguire is the prime target, the priority target for Manchester United, because they can't get De Ligt and Koulibaly. And this would take a world record transfer for a defender for Manchester United to acquire Harry Maguire. Now remember, this was floating around a couple of months ago. There was a headline that Ed Woodward's going to break the world transfer record for a defender for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And there are little hints there that United will do that. And regards to Harry Maguire, I mean, look, I think it's going a very, very interesting signing. But you know what? Van Dijk was an interesting signing at £75 million. It wasn't, everybody looks back in hindsight and goes, oh, what a great deal that was. I called him the Dutch Chris Smalling when they signed him. And it was a reasonable thing to say because they were buying him from Celtic and Southampton, effectively was his background. He was doing okay, but I couldn't see that he was going to go from Southampton and be the best centre-back in the world. I couldn't see that at all. So maybe that would be the same if United bought Harry Maguire for 90 million. He'd go on and be the world's best centre-back. I don't think he is. I think he'd be a very good centre-back, but I do think we'd have to put up with quite a bit of banter if we spent that much money on him. But it isn't a reason not to do it. But if we are in for Harry Maguire, then we're going to have to do that. And United are after a centre-back. I said last night, Diop, 60 million, West Ham. Pass me the lube, because United are going to get screwed over this summer, aren't we? If we're being quoted those sort of prices for a West Ham defender, I don't care what the potential is. No West Ham defender's worth £60 million. So Harry Maguire's not worth £80 million, but this is the market we operate in, and United can't haggle about it. But interestingly, with the Harry Maguire thing, there was a story I read, I think it was yesterday, that as part of the Harry Maguire deal, United could offer up Rojo and Eric Bailly. Now, I don't know how you'd feel about that. I was like, you know what, Rojo is part of the deal, fine. Eric Bailly, I like Eric Bailly, but I think United, Solskjaer and previous managers and coaching staff don't want to keep him for whatever reason. It might just be as simple as the fact that he's always injured, but Eric Bailly and Rojo, they've got to be worth 40 million combined. So you've got to say that Eric Bailly and Rojo for Harry Maguire plus 40 million would probably be the deal, because if you think Harry Maguire's 80 million, but then that just I'd rather give him 80 million and not do that, because it just 40 million plus Eric Bailly and Rojo just sounds ridiculous, because I think Eric Bailly on his day is probably better than Maguire, and Rojo's not, but Eric Bailly and Rojo plus 40 million for Harry Maguire, it just seems wrong. And maybe that's why everyone thinks the £80 million deal's wrong. But I do like Harry Maguire, but I just think that, again, the world of football and the prices you play, it's just ridiculous, isn't it? I want to talk about Rabiot for a minute, because I think he's very interesting. Lots to talk about today. We'll be talking about Isco, obviously. Also going to be talking about Fosu Mensah, Van der Beek, Schneider, Eriksen. You heard right. Zidane wanting a quick deal with United, Coutinho, Rakitic and a few others as well. But with regards to Rabiot, some very interesting quotes yesterday. I hope some of you did read them, from Buffon, who's obviously a former PSG player. And he was speaking about Rabiot. And I don't know whether that's because he's trying to steer him towards Juventus, that was a former club of his, because obviously Juventus are pretty much one of the favourites to sign Rabiot. But encouraging things what he said, because I think some United fans are like, oh, I like Rabiot, but I'm a bit worried about his personality. And Buffon, who spent a year with him, said it's really unfair, really, what's said about him. He's a really nice lad. He's a very talented player. He likened him to a combination of Pogba, Marquisio and somebody else. Really spoke about what a great talent he is, what a great head he's got on his shoulders. And that's from Buffon, who's played with him for a year. So I don't think United fans should be really, if we did get hold of Rabiot, and I think it would be very fortunate to do that, I don't think we should be going into that deal thinking, oh, we've got a bad one there, he's got a bad attitude. I think you've got to give him the benefit of the doubt. And to be honest with you, I'd be very surprised if we got that deal over the line, because as it says there, he's free, he's 24, he's highly thought of. Be a brilliant deal for United to do, to have to spend no money other than wages and a signing on fee. But we'll see what happens with him on the 1st of July. He'd solve a lot of problems for United. He's not just this tall midfielder who's slow with long hair and plays as a CDM. He's got a lot more to his game, And I mean, even Buffon was saying he just needs to times his runs into the box a little bit more and he'd score a lot more goals. He has got that in his locker to be a far more attacking midfielder than he is defensive, and he can do both. So I think it'd be a good signing, but really encouraging from Buffon, and I think hopefully that would put a few United fans' minds at ease if we can do the deal, which I still think is a big if. A big I is Isco in the middle there. Now, Manchester United, Real Madrid, Paul Pogba, Zidane apparently wants to get the Pogba deal done very quickly. There's mention yesterday that they'd be willing to offer either Bale or Isco as part of the deal. For me, I'm looking at Isco because I don't want Bale on a permanent deal from Real Madrid. He's 30 this summer. And he's on the decline. He's very expensive, and I think Real Madrid value him expensively as well. So if Pogba's 150 million, I think Real Madrid would be saying something like, we'll give you 70 million pounds plus Bale, because they value him at 80 million. I don't value Bale at anything more than 40. I'm sorry. I think he's on such a big steep decline. He's so concerned about injuries. I don't value him at that. But Isco's an interesting one. I think Isco's 27. He is skillful. He can create. I don't think Isco really suits United. I've got to say this. I don't think. I always see Isco as more of a number 10. A more, if you put him out wide, he becomes an inverted winger, and I don't like inverted wingers coming inside. And maybe he's just a pimped up Mata, but he is a very good player on the other hand, Isco, and I think he would give us a work ethic, a professionalism that we had with Mata, but maybe we could use him better than Mata, because Mata, when we bought Mata and he was 27, we stuck him out on the wing, and Isco's quicker than Mata, and maybe look, if it's Isco or Bale, I'd go for Bale, but maybe the reason I mention it is because I think Pogba wants to go to Real Madrid. I think this Juventus thing is interesting, but I don't think he wants to go back to Juventus. I think he wants to go to Real Madrid. I don't think Real Madrid have got 150 million, so I think they're going to offer us up a player, but they're not going to give us a player that we want. They're going to give us a player that we're going to have to think it through. And I think that if I'm thinking it through with Isco or Bale, I would go with Isco. So get your comments in below which way you would go with that. Obviously, the age is on Isco's side as well. He's probably, value-wise, what would Isco do to a Pogba deal? Pogba's 150 million. I'd be saying 100 million plus Isco. That's what I would say. Yeah, that's what I would say. Nothing less. I don't care whether they value him at 80 million or what. I wouldn't have any. I want a flat 100 million pound cash, because I think United have got 200 million to spend, and I think we need 300 million if Pogba goes. Because to be honest with you, if Pogba goes and you get Isco, does he solve either of our midfield positions? No. Is he the right winger? No. So, I suppose that's where Bale comes in, isn't it? But it's interesting. I don't think Juventus or Real Madrid can give us a player that really solves any of our problems unless they give us a player they don't want to give us, like a Varane. Also want to talk about I'll come back to that in a minute actually, but one story that did catch me yesterday was that United were looking at Philippe Coutinho and Rakitic to solve the Pogba void if Pogba goes. God no. Realistically, come on. Coutinho's already said he doesn't want to come to United because of the Liverpool thing. Good. Don't want you. Rakitic, I'm fed up of United being linked to Rakitic. He's 31, for God's sake. He's a very good player, but he ain't a Premier League midfielder. He really isn't. He has not. You can't chuck 31-year-olds into the Premier League, no matter how good they are. And then there will be examples in the comments below. People saying, "Well, such and such is 31." But it's too fast. It's too frenetic. And Rakitic, we saw him at Anfield. I know it was only one game, but he's just not the solution either. So United need to be steering clear of both of those deals. But they were mentioned yesterday, so I should bring them up. Also, I saw yesterday that Christian Eriksen linked to Manchester United. I can't see that. At all. Eriksen sort of hinted he might want a new challenge as well from Spurs. I don't think he's going to go from Champions League football, Champions League finals, one of the best midfielders in the league, to the chaos of Manchester United. I just don't think he would look at that. I think, Christian Eriksen, is he 26, 27? He's in his prime. It's the reason Pogba wants to go. I don't think Pogba wants to be part of this rebuild. I think he wants to be doing things now. I think Eriksen, when he talks about a new challenge, he probably quite fancies Real Madrid or a Barcelona. I don't think he fancies Manchester United's 6th place in the Amadale Cup. United need a certain type of player to come in. They can't get the Eriksens. I think they would reject them. So I think United need the 22-year-olds who are at clubs where United's a big step up, who have got that development in them, who have the potential to be very, very good and would fancy the project. So, James Maddison, ideal sort of player. But Christian Eriksen, I just don't see it. I really don't. I think he's a good player, but I just don't see him wanting to come to Manchester United. I think it's just paper talk, to be honest with you. A very interesting picture yesterday. Fosu Mensah on holiday. Schneider was on the picture and Van der Beek was on the picture. I joked and said, let's get the deal done, and then mentioned Schneider, because Schneider was always a United player, but never was. He was always on a flight to Manchester from somewhere to sign for United for about 3 or 4 summers, and then he just got too old and we never signed him. But I'd love to have signed Schneider for Manchester United, and it was funny to see him on the picture with Fosu Mensah and Van der Beek, because I really did like him. Obviously, we're not going to sign him now. I'm joking a bit, but I thought I'd just go off on a tangent. Van der Beek is the interesting one because Fosu Mensah was sat with him. But you can flip that one of two ways. Like a lot of people saying, Agent Fosu, get Van der Beek to come to Manchester United. But actually, it was only a couple of months ago where there was big links that Fosu Mensah was going to Ajax. Well, who plays for Ajax? Van der Beek. So, Ajax fans could be saying, Agent Van der Beek getting Fosu to go there. And I think that's more likely. Although Fosu Mensah has got a bad knee at the moment, hasn't he? So, look, I like Van der Beek. I know he divides opinion, but I think as a Herrera replacement, early 20s, again, he's done it on the big stage in the Champions League. He is tenacious, he is creative, and I think he would be a decent signing for United. Of course, there's an element of risk, but there's always an element of risk with these potential talents. And that's where United are going to be operating, hopefully. So, look. If Fosu Mensah can have a say in Van der Beek, but United have got to be interested in him, and I think United could get him, and I think United could get him for, certainly less than 40 million, and he's a midfielder. So let's see what happens with that. But the problem at the moment, and I said this on the show last night, we can talk about stuff and guarantee there's going to be big developments this week. I mean, that Issa Diop thing sort of come from nowhere over the last couple of days, and it seems to, one thing I would always say is that when a story's put out there by a media outlet, if they only mention it once and move away from it, they're doing it for clicks. United interested in Neymar. One story, that's it. We'll get a load of clicks, leave it. We all know it's bullshit. But with Issa Diop, with Sean Longstaff, this has been mentioned by the same people quite a lot now, quite a few times over a course of a few days. And you start to think, well, if they're talking nonsense, why do they keep highlighting the fact that they're saying it? So there's got to be something in the Diop thing. And I think over the next few days we will see those sort of stories. But I'm not convinced that there's a deal coming in the immediate future over the next few days. Maybe next week, but I'm not convinced there's going to be a deal this week. Because a lot of players are on holiday. They are. This is why you're seeing pictures of people on holiday, because they're on holiday. And you can't do deals with people when they're on holiday. You can do it when they come back, or they could fly back from their holiday. But in all honesty, if you're buying Van der Beek and he's on holiday in a beach and you say, Van der Beek says, I want to come, and United say, well, we've sorted the deal, we'll do the medical when you come back, why would you get your player back from a rest? You want them well rested for next season. So maybe we're in that week where people are on holiday and we're not going to do it. Some people like Wan-Bissaka are playing in tournaments as well. So whatever you think about that Wan-Bissaka deal, don't get excited about seeing him on tour, because he won't be there. He'll finish that tournament, he'll have 2 weeks off. And he won't be part of the tour, so he might be part of the back end of it if they fly him out. But yeah, that's just the way it is at the moment. What else did I want to talk to you about? We've done Rabiot, we've done Fosu, we've done Rojo and Beek and Maguire. I mean, look, let's just. I'm purposely throwing this in at the end because it would be very easy to do a thumbnail saying Neymar to United and let's do it for clicks and likes and all that bullshit, which this channel's not really about. So I'll mention it right at the end for those people who have the patience to watch all of the show, the proper hardcore fans. PSG offer Pogba an escape route. Neymar wants to leave PSG. Whatever headline you've read, Neymar to Manchester United. I mean, yeah, we are stupid enough to offer him the money. We are, because he's a shirt seller, and I'm sure Woodward would get excited about Neymar leaving PSG. But seriously, he's a fantastic player. You can't say, I don't want Neymar when you've got Lingard and Mata playing in your team. But on the other hand, this guy, it's Neymar FC. It's not whoever he plays for, it's Neymar FC. Even when he plays for Brazil, it's Neymar FC. So, as good as he is, for all the unfair stuff that Pogba gets thrown at him, with Neymar, it would be justified. He does live up his own arse. He is his biggest fan, and it is Neymar FC. Now, he's a good player. It's weird to say you don't want him when you know what we've got at home, but he is not right for Manchester United. It would not go the way you want to go. I mean, you're trying to rebuild something with a player that's going to run through brick walls, who's talented. I don't know. He's going to have every March off to go and see his sister's birthday, isn't he? Because he's done it for the last however many years. In the Premier League, he's going to get fouled a lot, so he's going to be injured a lot. He's going to cost ridiculous money. He's going to smash the wage structure. And the only reason he would be coming for is his money. And I know that happens with a lot of footballers, but Neymar, one of the top 5 players in the world, goes from PSG to Manchester United, who are in the Emmerdale Cup and have got no chance of winning the league. You're in Robinho to Man City territory there, and we laughed at that. It's literally just coming to a club to earn a wage. So I hope it would never happen. I can't see how it would ever happen. And as much as he'd be the best player in the team, I just don't think it would be good for United. But maybe you think differently. Get in the comments below. Have your say. Please do smash a like on the video, everybody, and subscribe if you are new. Remember, yesterday we went live at 4 o'clock because there was some breaking news. So make sure you've got your subscriptions on. Just click the subscribe button effectively. Ring your bell, and anytime we go live, you'll get a notification. And hopefully it will be something really, really big. But lots for you to talk about in the comments. Rabiot, Maguire. I mean, do you think Rojo and Bay plus 40 million for Maguire is doable? Should we do it? That's probably what they're looking at if they're going to go for players. Isco as part of the Pogba deal, or would you rather have Bale? Eriksen, do you think there's any likelihood of that? The Neymar thing, do you want to talk about that? Fosu Mensa, would you like us to get Van der Beek? Lots for you to discuss. Smash a like, and I will see you all later.